Black August is an annual commemoration and prison-based holiday to remember Black political prisoners, Black freedom fighters, and Black resistance against racial, colonial, and imperialist oppression. It started in the prisons to commemorate the resistance of freedom fighters George and Jonathan Jackson, but soon spread beyond the walls. Today, it is observed all over the country and serves as a strong reminder to continue to fight oppression by any and all means necessary. This is Black August Resistance, heroes and sheroes of the RNA 11. In 1968, led by members of the Malcolm X Society, 500 New African Black activists met in Detroit, Michigan to discuss the direction of our struggle against oppression in America. At this meeting, the Provisional Government of the Republic of New Afrika was formed.
It was a culmination of all types of organizations and movements and individuals. They all came together to participate in a 3-day conference in Detroit, Michigan. We were told that there were at least 500 delegates that came. And at the end of that 3-day conference, they ended up coming up with a Declaration of Independence that stated to the United States and to the world, and giving, of course, credence to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, that we had the right to exist, and utilizing the spirit of self-determination. They were able to declare to the world that we were forming a government, we were getting ready to declare ourselves independent.
Over the years, the RNA and its citizen workers have been infiltrated and attacked on several occasions by the U.S. government. One of the most brutal attacks occurred on Wednesday, August 18th, 1971, in Jackson, Mississippi.
My name is Addis Ababa. I'm known for being one of the RNA 11. We were citizens of the Republic of New Afrika, and we were attacked August 18th, 1971 in Jackson, Mississippi by the F.B.I, police, along with vigilantes that were with them as well.
According to Ababa, an undercover agent was sent to stay with the RNA by the counterintelligence program to justify the attack on the RNA.
Well, there was a guy who had robbed a gas station up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Stagger Lee. I think I remember that's his name. And somehow he found his way to Jackson, Mississippi. With the RNA. What we found out later on, that he was brought down to Jackson, Mississippi by COINTELPRO. They were planning him in the house so they could have a justification for raiding the house, looking for a murder. Before I got there, they had thrown him out the house because he was causing trouble in the community. You know, they say, oh, wait a minute, you calling to, no. They didn't know that he was wanted for murder. So they kicked him out the house. So the FBI felt that now, well, they knew he was gone because we had been infiltrated. But it was not only him, but it was other agents around. And so they felt it was time to raid the house right then and to attack us on August 18th, 1971. And we had our presidential, we had our embassy next to Jackson State University, where a couple of years before they had shot up Jackson State. Some of the same police attacked Jackson State as well. But our president and our minister of information and our minister of defense and another gentleman were in that house, and there was 7 of us in the other house, which makes up 11, RNA 11.
The police claimed they were serving a warrant, yet no warrant was ever shown. According to witnesses, police attacked first with tear gas and gunfire, and the RNA defended themselves.
We were asleep when we heard it was at the break of dawn. I heard 28, I heard the word jump. The word jump came about, after the Black Fred Hampton and Mark Clark were attacking in their sleep. Whenever you heard the word jump, that means, grab your weapons, you're being attacked. They said they gave us a minute to come out, but I didn't hear. I was woke up when I heard 28, 27, and I heard Kareem holler, jump. And I grabbed my weapon, and they counted down, and we were just waking up, and before we could get our bearings together, they began to shoot in the house. There was no negotiation, nothing. They didn't say who they were looking for, that they were there looking for somebody named so-and-so and so-and-so. They just say, come out the house. And they began to shoot in the house and, shoot. They opened fire on us. And we returned the fire. I was in the kitchen, and once we engaged them, they shot through the window. Some type of missile through the window. It was red with a yellow cap to it, with wings on the back. It's about this. Some people say it was a tear gas canister, but all I know, it came. Well, I shot out the window first. I was engaging, and then and when I ducked down, because they all began to aim at me, shot the missile. It went into the refrigerator, If that sucker would have hit me, I know I was dead, because it went in the refrigerator popped open. I was taking a lot of fire because it was a wooden house. I was taking a lot of fire, so I crawled into the kitchen. Crawled into the living room, and I could see the curtains in the living room. I was crawling in the dining room, but I could look in the living room and see the curtains up in the air, because they were shooting so many rounds, and we were on like kind of an incline, so a lot of bullets was popping off the walls. Plaster was, they were firing, because there was over 100 police and F.B.I. out there. So they was laying down fire on us, and so I saw Kareem crawling around the corner into a bedroom, and when I followed him, and when we got to the bedroom, I looked into the closet, and they were going down in the closet. And because we're in Mississippi, and they don't have basements, right? They have like what they call rat traps. When I crawled down in there, everybody, the 7 were there. The 2 sisters were in a ditch, and being protected by one brother, and then it was the other 3 of us. We could see out the back, and they were shooting up at the house. So we laid down fire there, and I don't know, about for another 5 minutes, 10 minutes or so, they didn't know where the fire was coming from. They kept shooting up, and then they fell back and they quit firing, and then they got to hollering about, Amari Obadelli, where are you? Amari. And they were directing a lot of that fire into the room that they thought was Amari Obadelli's, the president's room. They directed a lot of fire into that room. And after, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, something like that, we ran out of bullets, and we decided to surrender because we ran out of bullets. And we remember little Bobby Hutton of the Black Panthers when him and Eldridge Cleaver was up under there, and little Bobby came out and they shot him. So people were kind of reluctant to go out. We said, no, I'm not going out there. And so I just, I was pretty geeked up. I was like, I was just willing to die. I mean, to die, And so I crawled out. And next to us there was a fence. The police, the F.B.I. had cut a hole in the fence, and they directed me to come over to the hole. They had me under. So I went there, and after that, the other 5, they came out. We left our guns up under the porch, and we came out. Then they took us out front and began to, interrogate us, beat us. And from there, they took us on to jail. And
the shootout resulted in the death of Jackson Police Lieutenant William Lewis Skinner, and injury of another patrolman and an FBI agent. No RNA member was harmed.
Some interesting things happened after we came out the house. They sat us on the corner, the 7 of us, and they took the ties and they handcuffed us. Then they began to, interrogate us and kick us in the back and things like that. And we were out there for about 15 minutes, and then a undercover police car pulled up, and the police got out and popped the back of the trunk, and they pulled out cases, 24 packs of Miller High Life, and they began to pass it around to the police. And, this is after 2 police were wounded. Our FBI was wounded, the police was wounded, and another police was clearly, he eventually died. This after they think they were celebrating the battle. And then a sergeant came and said, what the fuck are you doing? We got our ass kicked. My friend is dead. And I got a kind of chuckle out of that during the tragedy, because my head laid down and I'm looking at Hikima, and I kind of laughed about that, and then they threw the beer back in the car, in the uncovered car, and they drove off. Then they came and they put us in the pack, and we saw army personnel carrier there. They had a little old gun up on top, a 60 caliber machine gun was on top. They came there, to massacre us, man. And they threw us in the back of the paddy wagon, and they threw a tear gas canister back there, And the next morning, they marched us in chains, with feet in chains and hands in chains. The next morning, they marched us to the courthouse, and white folks was clapping, they were clapping. And then we began our trial. Kima and Ofaga went to trial. They tried to fight the case, and it was found guilty, and they got life. They all came back. And by that time, my lawyer was working. And I didn't know it then, but I found out years later that my lawyer was a friend of the prosecutors, and I didn't know that. They had went to school, so I pleaded guilty to shooting because I was gonna get life. I was gonna get life. Yeah, they're gonna give me life too. I figured, well, why should I? And we all talked about it while we were locked up, and Hikima and Ofaga said, man, ain't no use you getting life. If you can make a deal and not get life. And I said, yeah, I shot. They wanted me to say that Omari Odeli told me to shoot. The president, I said, no, Omari didn't tell me to shoot. I shot because you people were shooting at me. I'm defending myself. Ain't nobody told me to do nothing. So they gave me a 12-year sentence. Then when we all went to federal court, they let us fight our federal court together. We all fought it together. And we all were found guilty for shooting at the federal officers, and we all got 12 years. We all got 12 years, and we were all out of prison in 10 years. I did 9 years. The three other brothers did 10 years.
It's one of the legacies to show. It literally shows how the U.S. government, COINTELPRO, CIA, F.B.I., National Guard, etc., actually attacked our right to self-determination.
The legacy of the RNA 11 is the same legacy of Black August. Resist oppression. Let's be clear. That night, the United States government tried to assassinate the leadership of the Republic of New Afrika. They tried to do the same thing to us that they did to Fred Hampton and Mark Clark. But we learned from that. We studied it. We prepared. We trained. And because of that, we lost no life that night. We had to bury nobody. But they did.